Hello, my name is Ian Aber, and this is Straight People. Today our guest is the hilarious comedian and frequent visitor of Atlanta, Rocky Dale Davis.
I love that intro.
We play the theme song every time all the way through, and people don't think we do it, but we do, and it's pretty funny. Matt Petchney, you know Matt?
No, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, well, he did it. He's a super funny guy. Oh. Well, Rocky, welcome to Straight People. Yeah, clear your throat.
Yeah,
compose yourself.
Got to just get ready for this.
I just saw you last night. You were at the Laughing Skull this weekend, and on my show, ABCD show.
Did Sunday. You know, I love that place. This place is unbelievable. Well, people who live in Atlanta, they might not understand, but I go everywhere, and that's like one of the best clubs because the way it's set up. It's like you can't drop in like anywhere else and just be like, hey, can I do time? Yeah. Because like most places, they have just like a headliner set, but that place, the way it's set up now, they're only booking 12 headliners a year. Yeah. I love it, man. Yeah,
I wish it's like a showcase club now.
Yeah, I wish it would get down to no headliners.
Well, I think they're always going to bring some in just to
they definitely will
to keep it exciting for them. And,
but it's just,
you know what it is? It's an 80 seat theater. They don't serve. There's no chicken fingers. There's no quesadillas. There's no check drop. So it's like you got to pay attention.
There's only one other place that I like love. I've done the Laughing Skull so much, but is the Comedy Works in Denver. That's just a different.
Yeah, I've heard that club's great.
It's the best club in the country, and it's not even close. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you have to. It's crazy, man. It's super hard to get into, but it's unbelievable. They treat you great and everything. It's awesome.
So where are you off to from here?
I go to Alabama for a couple of days. My brother's graduating, and then I go do a show there. What the fuck?
So the producer of the podcast is trying to sneak out of the studio real quietly, and he just knocked over a bunch of shit.
I know that was the whole show.
It's straight people. Just straight people making a mess.
Yeah, man. Straight. He's straight. So yeah, I just go back to Alabama. I'll do a show there on the 11th, and then I got a show in Nashville. Then I'll actually be back here the 21st to the 23rd. I'm filming something.
Of August?
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, we're shooting something. Not sure what it is.
Yeah.
It's making, trying to be famous.
Nice. Man. Yeah, you are. Well, you're on your way. You were a new face for Just for Laughs this year.
Yeah.
In Montreal, which if you're not a super comedy fan, that's sort of a... like a mark along the road of being acknowledged by the industry as an up-and-comer? It
literally is. It's very rare, very, very rare that you see someone. It's kind of just like, once you get that, they're like, okay, we'll fuck with you now. Yeah. That's basically
And so Just for Laughs in Montreal is just basically yearly comedy festival, kind of the comedy festival.
Yeah, it's the one.
And if you're not a big comedy fan, you may have heard about it this year because there was some drama associated with a comedian, another comedian from...
Don't cut your eyes on me.
Another comedian from Alabama, Darren Knight, Southern Mama, who's more of a YouTube sensation, internet comic, I guess they would call it. Facebook
comic. Yeah.
And you worked with him, right?
Yeah, I used to tour with him.
Let's recap what happened though. So what happened was he was named what? He was
named Variety's Top 10 Comics to Watch, which is just insane to me, by the way.
Based on the rest of the list that were mostly women, people of color, or queer, it was weird to see him on that list.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird to see. It just didn't. I guess if you want to start putting one on the list, like one of the people, but if you're gonna put Trey Crowder on the list, if you're gonna put Jermaine Johnson, put anybody else. But he doesn't have. It doesn't make any sense.
There's more internet sensation comics out there that are funny. And
so then the fucker, he starts. They do like this panel, and he goes like, "Well, in the panel he goes like, I don't think race and comedy should be like intertwined or whatever." And I'm like, do you look at his Facebook page? Yeah. All it is like Fox News videos. Yeah. I'm like, you're not. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
And then he got into an argument there, and then he goes last in the showcase. Which whoever did that, I think they're a comedy fan. They're like, I'm about to fucking ruin you because Joakim Booster is a fucking hilarious. That dude is like, you're following him, Mendes Seals, Jabuki, like you're following all like these people that are really funny, and they're all also like pushing similar things. Yeah. So then to go up. And he bombed doing like a shit joke. He did a Goodfellas joke at the beginning. Yeah. And then to go on though after after everyone in that set, I guarantee you did something about race or their like gender or whatever. Yeah. Then to go say, I don't think this is that's the reason. If you just bombed, it's cool. You just bombed. Yeah. But that's being a dick because you know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're shitting on the comics.
You're literally shitting on everyone who came before you, who also murdered, by the way. So
yeah,
it's like,
absolutely.
I don't like him because of the things that happened on tour when he messed me over.
Yeah.
Like, it's like 4 days for the first tour date. They're like, hey, we're only going to do $300 for travel.
Yeah.
For flights. And I'm like, and I'm not getting a raise. I'm doing 30 minutes a night. He's making $30,000. I'm making $500.
That's all he can pay for travel. He owns 3 peacocks. Everyone keeps talking about the 3 peacocks.
Fucking 3 peacocks on that plantation. It makes me mad. And I used to be his friend, man. I could really used to be close friends with him. And I will say, like, after the shit, the thing that made me mad is that it wasn't even like, I'm like, okay, cool, business is business. And then like I got like a really mean text message from him after he like cut me so they're not gonna do travel. He's like, you're a fucking idiot and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like he never apologized for that. I saw him in Nashville one time. He like tried to talk to me and I was just like, yeah. But it was because I was with the Impractical Jokers and he just wanted to meet them. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not like, it just, I don't know. It's a karma, man. It's literally what it is. Yeah. Because I never like went on Facebook and shit on him or anything.
Well, and his act is such a weird, so for him to say, hey, I don't want to talk about race or sexuality or gender, but here I am going to imitate a woman.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? He's like I forget, somebody called him the mayonnaise Medea. That was, I think it was Jay Jordan who was just in town.
Funny.
Yeah.
It doesn't have it really is funny because it falls on Variety a lot too for them to even let that happen.
Yeah, was that a stunt? I feel like it was a stunt. Like what? Because when you read the Variety article, it says it was a panel, a group that got together. So it wasn't one person deciding, it was like an editorial review.
Well, he was rep by ICM. I think in ICM's, they're like partners with Variety or something.
Well, you know that ICM, my understanding is that they own Just for Laughs now.
Oh, they do? That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I just had a meeting with them, so.
Well, let's stop talking about it.
Yeah. It's in that real quick now. Yeah. Now, like I know people. I knew Adam. I think it's Adam Greenwood. He comes to Laugh and Score every year. I think is his name. Yeah. He's a good dude, but it's like it just I don't know. It didn't make any sense and. Anybody who's surprised by it just doesn't understand comedy. And then the thing pisses me off is a lot of his fans are like, well, they were just mean to him. I'm like, no. He was a dick. Yeah. If he just bombs, it's not a big story. It's just like Southern Mama bombed.
I know, but he could go on basically the right wing press tour and be like, poor me.
Oh, no, that's literally what he's doing.
Clapped back on me. Yeah.
That's what I was talking to a comic. I would love to say, I'll tell you off here because I can't say his name, but he goes, I literally think it was a stunt. He goes, I think it was just so he can be like, the liberals can't handle the truth.
It was a stunt some way around. So
it became a stunt at the end.
So whoever put him last may have been like, okay, this is the stunt, right?
Yeah.
Darren himself may have accepted this and went to do it as a stunt because he knew that he was going to be received that way. Or they could have just put him on the list to see what happens. But the thing is that everyone has pointed this out. Everyone who's talked about it said, do you remember anyone who was on the list last year? And what happened at the show last year? Nobody knows anything about it. And now that's all everybody's talking about. Yeah. So if it was a stunt, good job. Great job. So you should get a raise.
I'm fully expecting to be on Variety's top 10 next year.
Oh, you should. Okay.
Everyone keeps writing my name. They're like, if you want a Southern white guy, you should just get Rocky Del Davis.
Yeah, you did. It was interesting how that ended up being good press for you. So like bad press for Darren turned into good press for Rocky.
It started out bad press because someone was like, I heard they gave you shit last night. I'm like, that wasn't me. That was him. Yeah. But then now it's turned around. I think it was like Tim Dillon. I've read like 3 or 4 articles that were like, I saw Rocky, he's really funny and all that shit. So it all worked out in the end, I guess. I don't know. He's going to be fine. My mom was like, Artie, you shouldn't pick on him. His career's over. I'm like, his career ain't gonna. The people in fucking Kentucky don't care about that.
Yeah, his fan base is like outside of what Just for Laughs is all about anyways. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the case.
I announced that I've made Just for Laughs and I got like 33 likes, and I when I announced I got Redneck Island, I got like 750. And it's like one's obviously bigger than the other, and they're like, oh my god, you're gonna beat Stone Cold. That's right. It's like I'm also gonna be up there with like Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle and all of them. They're like, that's cool, but you're Stone Cold. Yeah. It's 3MD.
Wow.
People, my hometown's great about that stuff.
So did you, when you were on tour with him, because I heard, I know another person who was on tour with him who I won't name. Yeah. But what I heard was that he, this person would perform well and get a great response, and the more that happened, the more issues he had with Southern Mama, the more problems there were, and the faster he got cut from that tour. It was like,
yeah. There's also very few members on the tour. So
I know. Right.
Yeah, no, that literally happened. I remember one time because he had he had another act go up before me, and they did like really dirty. So then unless you're Nate Bargatze, it's really hard to follow dirty with clean. It's I'm not that level. I'm not even a clean act. So I just went up and did my act when I did it dirtier, and I crushed. And then he goes, what was all that stuff about all the dirty stuff? I mean, I can't. And like, cause he literally did 10 minutes that night after me, cause he literally couldn't follow it. Yeah. And he was like, you can't do. I'm like, bro, you get the fucking. She's singing about like you can't do that, and then expect me not to do my dirty after. Yeah. And he like literally like any night I would like murder it. He would like nights, really good nights. He literally would do like 10 or 12 after me. Yeah. He was like, it was so bipolar about things all the time. Wow. And and it was crazy because I was like, I was making like $2 or $3 grand some weekends. Yeah. And like, that's a lot of money. Absolutely. Like even now with headline, it's still a lot of money plus my travel paid for. Yeah. But it was between him and his manager. And I will say it wasn't predominantly Darren at first. Yeah. And then it was his manager, and then his manager just really rubbed off on him. Yeah. And it just became like, I wanted to quit the tour. Yeah. And because me and Ralphie were fighting at the time, and I wasn't on tour with him, and I really wanted to quit just because he was so fucking bipolar, man. Yeah. It would be this day or the next, and then dealing with him and the manager, I was like, and his manager was trying to rep me. His manager was telling people he repped me at the time. I'm like, I don't fucking know you. Like, it was so much, man. And I was happy it ended but then at the same time, I was already like in debt at that point, and then for the next 4 months I didn't have anything booked, and then it fucking killed me financially. Like 2017, I think I made like $15,000 off comedy. The year before I made like $70,000. Wow. And so it hurt me hard. Yeah, yeah. And then it was like if it was just the manager, it became like a friend. Yeah. And I was like, dude, man, fuck you, dude. Like that's messed up.
So when you saw his name on that variety list, did you know what was coming?
I got texts from club owners and a couple managers that I know that I'm good friends with, and they were like, hey, we're gonna go to Canada. We're gonna move next year. And I was like, what? And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like my mind was absolutely blown because I was always like, cool, he could just be like a thing. He'll never like no one's like a serious stand-up. Yeah, exactly. And the bad part is if he would have just done, he doesn't even have an act, but he could have just pandered for like a second and been fine. Yeah. And he just
well, if he had just done his Southern Mama stuff, right? I mean, doesn't he just get up and do the voice?
I don't think that would work there. You know, it's so funny. I wrote him 8 minutes one time because his manager wanted me to write for him, and so I wrote him like 8 minutes where I just did the character. Yeah. I wrote the character into jokes where he could jump in and out of it. You know, and I remember first off, his manager wouldn't pay me the money, and then he's like, I'll pay it to you, but you can't tell Darren. And I'm like, well, this is Darren's money. How would he not know? Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, you're stealing money from him for sure. But so then I wrote it for him, and he never did it. And then I think it was somebody was like, yeah, he didn't think it was funny. And I'm like, yeah, how would I know what's funny? And how also, I literally used to sit outside, and there, at least every show, there would be 30 to 40 people. When I'm outside, just sitting outside chilling, come outside and be like, you were so funny. He doesn't even do the character. Like, why? No offense to him, but I came to see the character. You know, absolutely. It would be like if you go see Larry the Cable Guy, and then he goes back into Dan Whitney. Yeah, yeah. And you're like, well, that's cool, but I would rather. And I told Darren that a long time ago. Yeah, I was like, you're gonna have to do one or the other. You're gonna have to become a comic who does good, who talks about his life, and does that shit, and then does the character after. I was like, you're gonna have to be the character. And he went in either avenue, and that's why his fucking show stinks. That's why most people leave. All they want's a picture. And it's just I tried to.
I saw the lineup of one. I don't know what the current configuration is, but it looked like the most disturbing like family photo I'd ever seen.
Oh yeah, that picture's great. Yeah, they got a couple guys. I heard one of the guys is pretty cool, but just again, there's no pure stand-ups on the tour. Yeah, so you're going, and it needs to be more of a variety show at that point. Yeah, and less of a. I'll give the manager props on that one. His manager was talking about doing like a variety, almost like a Medea setup kind of. Yeah. And I was like, that makes a lot more sense than what you're doing now, because you're having people do stand-up that don't fucking do stand-up. Everybody thinks it's so easy to do stand-up. It is. It is one of the hardest things. I mean, for me, even I'm like naturally funny. I'm not like I work like really hard at comedy.
All right, calm down.
No, but let's chill the fuck out. Look, but like it's people think it. I see all these people doing it, and then like they're just it's so easy, and people.
Well, what it is it's like it's really hard to make it seem like it's easy. Yeah, you know, it's like you want it to sound conversational. You want to sound like you're not just getting up there and telling them jokes. You're actually talking to them. Yeah, and the trick is that you gotta have to. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The difficulty is on making yourself sound like you're not just up there going, and here's the next one. Here's the next one.
Do you know where they luck out at on that aspect a lot with Darren? Is he has people that have never been to comedy shows.
Oh yeah. I would
so then they'll come and they have really they don't know what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why he don't go to like Denver or somewhere like that, because they would be like, the people that would be like, oh, this is not good. Yeah. There's supposed to be like, the last show I saw, they had punchlines and it was a wild time.
Nene Leakes from the Real Housewives, she goes and does quote unquote stand up shows, and like, I've never been, but my friends who are gay, who like regular stand up and then love things like the Real Housewives, they went and they're like, oh yeah, she doesn't have a joke, but she's funny as shit because she does crowd work and she tells all these stories and whatever, but it's not, none of it. So she's calling herself a comedian. She's saying she's doing stand up, but like, even to somebody who barely like, knows any stand up, they're going and being like, this is her talking for
That's why the 85 South show does well, because it has Carlos Miller. He's unbelievable stand up. One of the funniest guys I've ever seen. And then you have Chico, who's like I think he may do stand up too. I'm not exactly sure. But then you have like DC, who's like is not a stand up. I heard he actually works really hard, but if he does, I really appreciate that. But then in the aspect, the way they do it is you don't really need to do stand up. It's more of like where it puts you in that environment. Yeah. And then I've seen the show. The show's unbelievable. It's so funny because it's not like they'll have like Carlos do stand up. Yeah. And then like you'll have like DC like do like a little bit, but it's kind of just like him poking and stuff. Yeah. And then that's the format that it should be. Like that makes sense for them, because it is why people come, and you're not really just putting people on stage for 15 and 20 minutes that don't really know what the fuck they're doing. And that's why this comedy, I don't know what's gonna happen with comedy. There's such a big boom right now, and it's scaring me because I'm talking to a lot of these networks and they're talking about how much money they have to put behind comedy. Yeah. And I'm like, ugh, that's the last bit, because they push that final pile out, and they take the table, and then somebody fucking throws over 4 queens, and they pull all that money back, and then it's fucking dead for like 5 years. I just hope that I get, because as long as you're over the hump first, then you're fine.
Well, and the boom seems to be like, there's like 2 waves of the boom. Yeah. There was the boom that sort of started, I feel like in the mid 2000s, which was like, everyone realized, oh, you can just become famous doing YouTube or whatever else. And it encouraged a lot of people to start stand up, because it's like, oh, I can just reach my audience directly. And I think that's the straight wave of it. Yeah. Mostly male, and nothing, not banging on it at all. But then the next wave that came like probably about 5 years later, like 2010, 2011, about when I started, is females and queer people who are all of a sudden like, wait a minute, the temperatures changed. Like, I didn't feel comfortable talking about being gay on stage until like 2011,
that's
2012.
Crazy. That's something for me. Like, I was listening, Bert was talking about that, and that's something that to me just seems like insane at this point, because when I started in comedy, you could say when I really got here, and it was like 2013 to 14, right? Yeah. So 2014. So like when I got here, that was already popping. It was already popping, and I was like, "Oh, everyone!" So that is, and that's something I can't relate to, because I don't know. But that's insane that you like wouldn't talk about that. You're like,
I didn't even do stand up. I just wouldn't. There was no way I was going to get in front of a room full of straight people and talk about anything. You know what I mean? That's crazy. But I feel like the second wave. So like, I don't know if the pop that's going to happen is going to be everything. I think the pop that's going to be happening is what we consider to be traditional stand up and traditional people who do stand up, and the second wave is going to be sort of like what happened in the 90s, where it was like all of a sudden everybody was interested in black comedy and black comedians. Yeah. And I think queer and women are the next wave. I don't know if it's going to look exactly like like a full like Def Jam the way it did, but I think that's where it's going. That's like, look at the lineup on that Variety for this year. There was like 4 or 5 queer people on it.
There wasn't a single Rolling Stone or Variety the past 2 years. I haven't seen Rolling Stone's list this year, but I assume the last 2 years has had no straight white guys on it.
Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, so it's like, and it's
which is crazy.
That's my thing, is because
there are so many straight white guys in comedy.
Yeah, it's
to
very
say
unrealistic.
that they're not funny is ridiculous.
Yeah,
to me.
no,
like you're a straight white guy. You're from Alabama. Yeah. I don't feel like you and I have ever butted heads on anything, but no, you're like a good. Oh, have we?
You remember that when I said I made that? I was like, I hope if you get mad at a trans person in a bathroom, because I met. Oh yeah. I met this trans dude in Orlando. But you know what that was?
It was just the way you were gendering that person.
Because the way I worded it wrong.
Yeah, it's
fine, but it's like my thing is that I feel like anyone who like ever like says like I'm racist or homophobic really doesn't know me. Yeah. Like I like.
But I don't think I didn't say you were transfer. I just said I didn't like
because you said I worded it wrong, which I was like I didn't mean to do that. And you're like, it's fine. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But there's the other comics in
no, but I understand what you mean, and that's the thing. It's like you talk about sexuality, you talk about gay, I guess gay stuff or whatever. Yeah, you have a joke, and I've even like tagged one of your jokes like that.
You did a very good job on that joke too. I still can't. I have to figure out how to tell it differently because it's just. I have to figure out, I don't know, like how to like lube it up a little bit more because it's still a little too dry to tell to some people.
Yeah.
But yeah, then no, the way you tell it.
Yeah, some audiences don't.
You took what I was trying to say and then you said it and I was like, God damn it, that's what I was trying to say.
Well, but
you're
that's
very good at that,
like,
by the way.
No,
you're very, very good at that. Like I feel like if there's like ever like you've done that twice to jokes of mine. Yeah. Where I was like, I knew what I was trying to say and I just couldn't say it. And you're like, oh yeah, and I was like, oh fuck you, dude. That's what I was trying to say. I remember that one night we had 3 conversations and I took all 3 of those jokes and told them on stage and you were like, are you biting me, dude? Are you biting me back here? I thought we're friends. Don't bit me.
Don't run your bits on me. That's true. You know what it is that like part of listening to comedy is listening for the voice.
Yeah.
So like I don't necessarily think I could write one of your jokes, but I get the beats of your jokes really well. You know what I mean?
The voice is weird, man. Yeah. Because I'm at a weird point right now.
Well, the voice changes because so the voice is actually just you as a person, letting all your guard down and being unfiltered and like really being able to express yourself. But that person keeps changing. So a joke you wrote 6 months ago, depending on what life looks like 6 months later, could be a totally different joke.
It is crazy. You know, tell you what the wildest part is you, because you've known me for like a while now. Yeah, I'll say like 2 years.
I've seen you grow into almost an adult.
Yeah. You take what I said, like, so it's so crazy because I was at Montreal, and then it happened the other day. It happened a bunch of Montreal, and another day I literally was at the cellar. This was 2 days ago, and this lady ran out of the showroom. Was an African American lady, and she was like, "Hey, I really appreciate the way you talk about race and racism and stuff." She's like, "It's very insightful," and I was sitting there, and I'm like, I never thought that would happen, huh? Yeah. Because I just naturally over time, it's just because I and it's so crazy because my fan base is predominantly women a lot of times.
Mine is the same.
Yeah. So it's like, they're like women that are just like, oh, he's good looking. He's going to be like, I used to be like more like a fun I'm still in fun, but now it's like a lot of my things are like, fall back into like, hey, this is like a good, like, I don't know, it's kind of like a good meaning at the end. Yeah. And it was so weird because it happened in Montreal. People were like, man, the way you talk about race and stuff is so like, it's so different. And it's like, it's so like insightful to hear. And I was like,
well, because what people are expecting is somebody to talk, especially like a white Southern straight guy to talk about race. What they're waiting for is for you to so all the setup of you talking about race, they're waiting for you just to say something racist. Yeah. But instead you actually have something to say about race that's funny.
Did you hear the pig joke last night, by the way? Did you like it? Because I remember you were against it at first.
Well, because the way you worded it.
The way I worded it at first. But yeah, the way it comes around now, I like it. Do you like it or no?
Well, just so the audience understands, it's a joke about that you grew up where there were 2 farm animals of different species that were both male that had a relationship. Yeah. And I like it. The end of that joke is way better.
Yeah. The first way I was trying to tell it to you, I remember because you were quick, you're like, don't say that. And I was like, no, I don't mean
well, you
like
said
that.
The setup and I was just like, no.
Yeah, because I think you're like, yeah, that's something. But no, that's so crazy because now it's like, I literally.
I wish I could remember the way you said it though, because the way you said it.
Originally it was bad because
it was. You know what it was? It was like one of those. I'm about to go on stage, Rocky. I don't have time to unpack what you just.
I was like, can you punch us up? But no, it's wild because it's like it's like where it's and then. And it's crazy too because even though she fucked up everything, she helped a little bit because everything was in the general direction. And I've been saying this for years. Everything was going in the general direction of like everything is like woman and queer. Yeah. And a lot of these shows were not working because majority of the country is like they don't want to like Roseanne did a lot. She fucked it up again. Yeah. But I was talking to a Fox lady and she's like no. She's like we would love to have you like on our roster because we feel like you talk to a demographic. And you can talk to them and then we don't go on your Facebook page and you're fucking, all you're doing is talking about how Trump's the best or whatever. Yeah. And they're like, we feel like you can start a conversation and then change someone's mind. And it's because I've been in like saloons that a black person or a gay person, I don't think would fucking ever go into.
Well, just as a general rule, gay people don't go into saloons. Like I'll go into a salon, but not a saloon. I went into too many letters. It's an extra L and an O that I just can't possibly deal with.
Yeah, I went in this place. It literally was in Florida, and I was talking to this dude, and I was like, yeah, man. I was like, but you gotta admit, it's way too easy to get guns right now. And he goes, yeah, man. He's like, don't tell me. He's like, but it's like way too easy. And I'm like, yeah, like, so like but you can't start off the conversation with you're a fucking idiot. Give me your gun. No, it's like that's why I feel like I'm in like a cool position now, because I'm like all my family and friends in Alabama are avid Trump supporters, and then all my friends
everything is polarizing. So if you can if you can exist in like, so for me it's the same kind of thing. It's like existing in multiple spaces. So you know, I am gay. But
you're gay?
Yeah, no, right? Straight people. But that's not I'm not just talking about that on stage.
Yeah.
And when I do talk about it, it's not like how wrong you are for not accepting it. I don't care what they like. I actually am fine with an audience member who doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
As long as they keep listening. So maybe you don't want to hear it, but you'll at least listen to the rest of my set, because at some point I may say something that you actually find funny. And I may actually say something that makes you think.
Yeah.
I'm not out there to change it. I'm so the opposite. I never think about changing anybody's mind.
Yeah.
I want them to understand my point of view. That's it. So you can do with it. You can talk about what a shithead I am on the way home. Fine by me. Just as long as you get my point of view and it makes you laugh maybe a little bit, then I did my job. You know what I'm saying?
Just close y'all for or say fuck you and leave, which happened to Ryan Hamilton. He's like a clean act. Yeah. And he literally goes, yeah, times are crazy. Trump's crazy, right? And this dude was like, fuck you, man. And Ryan Hamilton is the cleanest act of all. Like, he doesn't do any, like, he literally is like, and it wasn't a dirty, and the dude was just like left. But
I found that the people who are Trump supporters tend to be it's crazy too, because like as many militant queer people that I know, that the Trump supporters, like I remember being at like some like restaurant show in Alpharetta, and somebody was not even banging on Trump. They were just saying his name. Yeah. And there was somebody in the back going, don't make me grab my gun, which he wasn't going to grab his gun. Obviously, he wasn't going to put down his quesadilla for nothing. Yeah. But it was the attitude was immediately like, they didn't even wait to hear how the joke was going to go. They just heard the word Trump and they're activated.
Yep. That's what it is, right?
I heard that's called Trump derangement syndrome. Is that what?
That's crazy.
I think it's the other way around. That's what people say. So that's what the right says about people on the left who get mad about Trump. Yeah. That you have Trump derangement syndrome. And I feel like it's the other way. I feel like it's like if you have to defend Trump even for a second after you voted for him, you become deranged and very upset about it.
It's like, I love the snowflake saying, because the only people, like the people that really get offended on my wall, which, but by the way, conservatives and liberals hate me. I'm like, y'all both can't. Like, one of y'all has to pick a side. So, but I'll have conservatives, and they're by far the most like sensitive.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I'm like, y'all, you can't call them snowflakes then. If this joke where I say, I was like, I'm not, I said that sounds like, I was like, if you vote for Trump, I'm not mad at you. I was like, but if you drink Pepsi, you're a piece of shit. And somebody was like, I like Pepsi and I like Trump. Fuck you. And I was like, okay. I'm still more mad at the Pepsi one, but okay.
I think it's funny, like I'll poke fun at straight people on I'll make a joke or whatever. And like I have people who message me who are like, I liked you better when you didn't hate all straight people. I was like, I've hated all straight people since I was born, motherfucker. Okay. Everyone. I've just been keeping it in check.
You don't listen to my podcast song?
Yeah, right? Somebody told me, they said, oh, I hear you have a podcast called I Hate Straight People. I was like, it's just called Straight People. Just the I hate is implied.
They just like added that on there.
It's not even statistically possible for me to hate all straight people. Like if I spent the rest of my life actively hating straight people, I'd only get to hate like maybe a percent of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of them,
Yeah.
Instead, I'd rather understand what the hell, where'd y'all come from? Why are there so many of you?
Man, I don't even know.
You're straight. You got a girlfriend?
I got a girlfriend.
You start referring to her by her name. You don't just call her my girlfriend anymore.
Oh, I do? That's crazy.
For a long time, it was just my girlfriend.
My girlfriend, yeah.
You would say me and my girlfriend.
Me and my girlfriend.
Like, that's selfish.
I talk about her a lot because I'm just always around her. I feel like I talk about her too much. Yeah, that's wild, man. It's wild having a girlfriend.
How long have you been together?
Like a year and a half, maybe.
Is that the longest?
Oh, I've never had a girlfriend before.
Is this your first LTR?
What does that mean?
Long-term relationship.
Oh my God. That's crazy. Yeah, this is by far, like, I mean, again, I've had sex.
What does she do?
She's a dancer. She's like a ballet dancer. Okay. It's like contemporary or something like that. Nice. I have to say that because everybody's like, sure, but I'm like,
yeah.
She didn't understand that either. Yeah. But no, I'll say out of all, and I've had sex with a good bit of women, and out of all of them, I don't think I've ever had sex with maybe except for 4 of the same women twice.
Really?
I just always
just all one night stands.
I just never I never had a connection with maybe anybody really. Yeah. Except for maybe like one or two people, and they both cheated on me. Okay. And then so like I was like super, but it was so crazy because I met Laura, and we've been through hell as far as things like that go. But I know I love her because I've never even when I doubted it, I was still like I would be with her forever the rest of my life.
Really?
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
So when did you guys say I love you to each other?
I told her I loved her the second day I met her.
The second day.
Yep. I had texted my friend because I had a girl when I flew into Atlanta after I got off the cruise ship and I met her, and the girl was like, "Hey, you want to come over and have some fun before you leave out of town?" And I was like, I know this sounds crazy, but I met this girl, and she's like, "Well, I'm just asking to hook up." She's like, "It's like if you're dating someone, it's fine, just come hook up." I'm like, "No, I think I like this girl." And then I went to Nashville like the week after. I turned down like a foursome. And it was just like, I just really always loved like Laura so much. She's just
okay. You are not answering the question that I asked.
Oh,
so I'm going to ask. So that's cute and all. I hope Laura knows all the foursomes that you turned down.
I told her. No, I fucking texted her. So I was mad. I was like, "Hey, look." I was like, "You better be on board with this shit."
Did you send her a screenshot?
Oh no, I sent her a picture of the girls. I was like, "Hey, you better know this shit's serious because I just turned these fucking girls down."
Oh my goodness. All right.
Well, I'm bad at relationships. I'm like Housley. I'm bad.
I might have notes for you on all that. But let's start with the question I asked, which was, what were the circumstances of you saying I love you to her?
I didn't hear that.
That's what I said.
No, I met her, and then I just.
So the second day you knew that you had feelings for her.
Yeah, like the.
But when did you finally say I love you to her?
No, I told her. I'll say because we were together one night. I think the next day I was like, I really love you. I was like, I love you. I think I literally was calling her like baby within like the 2 or 3 days. I was like, baby, I love you and stuff. Yeah. And she's like, you really need to stop saying that. You don't know me. And I was like, no, I know you. I was like, I love you. And she's like, well, I have a bunch of things you don't know about. I'm like, no, I love you. Yeah. And then I've always I literally from the second day. Yeah. Because I remember the first time.
And then when did she say it to you?
Oh fuck. July 5th. Last year, and we were in Chicago.
So how long were you together before she felt and was like, okay?
We count that as our anniversary because she never called me her boyfriend before then. Yeah. And we were in Chicago. I remember I flew down to West Palm to drive her to Chicago.
Oh, that's nice.
And surprised her. And she hates surprises. And drove her, met my family out. We drove her to Chicago. And then we were in the bed that night. And she's like, I love you. And then I started crying.
Oh, yeah. Rocky.
I like it because it's good to have someone. I always say it's like it's good to have someone who cares about how your day was, not how your set was. Yeah, it's like a big thing.
Yep.
And
like
for comedy.
Yeah, your life in general, not just comedy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's so easy to just focus on this. And I know you've been hyper focused on it the whole time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see you as somebody who probably doesn't necessarily always have a life.
I'm even more relaxed because you've known me for a while, and that's like I don't have a lot of I have friends in comedy, but I don't have like good friends in comedy because I always was just like I never had a girlfriend. I never had I always was like comedy. Yeah. And it's so crazy because now that I've kind of relaxed and just let a lot of it come to me, I've wrote way more now. Yeah. And then because I have like a life outside of comedy, and it's like so instead of being like how I'm gonna book these 3 dates, she's like, well, let's just go and then we'll hang out. And then it's like, so I feel like it makes you grow on that, because I got to the point where like I knew I was good at comedy, and then it was like, now I could just have a life outside of it, which I think matters a lot. Absolutely.
Well, and there's no comedy without the life because it's like eventually, you know how it is. You watch these comics, you know the comics that I'm talking about where everything is about. I was at the show. Yeah. And then this thing happened. You told me that
one time because I was
and it's like, what I suggested was just strip because you had this whole bit that was like you went to the zoo. Yeah. But you preface it about how because you're
travel a lot because of comedy. Yeah.
And it's like, just take that part out. Nobody cares about that part. Us as comics, maybe we care, but the audience, they don't.
Yeah. No, Bert Kreischer told me that one time because I think I said something. Cause I always got drunk and like hung out or whatever, but I always was like on the go constantly. And he was like, don't be so concerned with telling stories about your life on stage that you don't live a life worth telling stories about. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if that's his or somebody else's, but
that's a very good point though.
Yeah, but he's like you have to have a life. He's like, so if you're not like you have all these great stories before, he's like, but them bitches will run out. You know? Yeah. And then now I have, tons of jokes like about like, her, things that have happened because of being with her, and I really like having a girlfriend. And I don't get caught up in like chasing ass anymore. Like it's like that took a lot of my time.
You are totally different. Like, so we worked a weekend together,
dude. It is,
and your attitude was fine, but it was like just like such a tail chasing, like this girl, that girl, this girl, that girl kind of deal. Yeah. And I'm just like, I keep feeling like I'm gay. You don't have to tell me any of this shit. Dude, you know what I mean? Like,
do you know what's so funny? So I was in by the way, let me just say this. Dusty Slay goes, we're talking about industry and stuff. And then Dusty at Montreal goes, he goes, yeah, I feel like you do everything the wrong way and it always works out. And I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I work really hard. He goes, no, I don't say. He's like, okay, at Laughing Skull Festival, you were drunk, shirtless, grinding on Michael Cox. He's like, if I do that, career over tomorrow.
Right.
But then I was sitting there with Dusty and Caleb and they were talking and they're like, yeah, man. And Dusty's like, I was talking with Marcy. He's like, you changed a lot. And he's like, you changed a lot since you were with Lauren. He's like, I don't know if it's her, what it, but he's like, your attitude has changed. He's like, you're a lot calmer now. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. And then everybody was like, no, you definitely are. And I was like, wait, is this like a thing? like I thought I was the same person. And then they're like, no, you calm the fuck down like a lot. And I was like,
well, you're also how old now?
I'm 25.
Yeah, there's a difference between. So I've known you for since you were 19, probably.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between a 19-year-old and a 25-year-old, and that's just the way the world. But I will say that there's a picture of myself and Dusty Slay, and then there's another picture where you kind of like popped in real quick, and that was you at Skullfest in a nutshell. I made a GIF of it. It's like me and Dusty standing there, and then you pop in, and I'm just like so uncomfortable.
that was still like that was me still like drinking hard because I was just like I didn't really care to meet any industry at Skullfest and I was just like having a good time.
Well, they set the whole thing up to be a party, so you just partied and there's nothing.
Set the party off. That's right. Yeah, shirt comes off. I literally somebody was like, "When you take your shirt off in Montreal?" And I was like, maybe not this one. If my girlfriend wouldn't have been there, I 100% would have. But she's kind of like the fucking like little like. Calm down.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're about to wrap up here. So let me ask you a couple questions. I like to ask these dumb questions about straightness and straight people. Okay. So you grew up in Alabama and you've lived in LA. You've lived some time in New York. You're in Las Vegas now. What's the difference between being straight in Alabama and being straight in like LA? Is Alabama straight and LA straight the same thing or?
I'm a little confused. What do you mean?
Well, like, we all say that straight people and straightness is the end all be all, and if you like a little stuff in your butt, are you still straight? I don't know.
I'll just say sometimes. So in Alabama, I'll just say you just don't you don't see as many openly straight people. Or not openly gay people. Yeah. Sorry. Somebody's like, I gotta go to Alabama.
I know, right?
No, I just mean like
what part of Alabama? Oh.
You can meet a guy like you'll like go to like Chick-fil-A and you'll be like, that guy's gay. Yeah. And really like he's not like even the guy in my hometown who's gay, he still dresses the same, but it's like if you go to like LA, like a motherfucker's wearing like a potato sack. Yeah. And they're wearing a shirt that says like gayness or something like that, and you're like, it's just more like obvious, I guess. It's just in Alabama, there's becoming more and more gay people, obviously, and it's just as the days move on, more people are becoming comfortable, and everything's changing. But yeah, I remember the first time I went to LA, and it was just like openly like dudes kissing in the street, and I was like, that's crazy, you know? That happened in Atlanta at Midtown. Yeah. I was like, this is fucking insane. Like y'all, like, you know. And then now it doesn't even like bother me. I go back to Alabama and I'm like, if one of y'all fucking saw this, y'all would lose your minds, you know? Yeah. Awesome. I guess it's just openness.
Well, no, it's just times are changing. Visibility. That's
I love it.
What it is.
I love it.
Tell me what a straight food is. Like, what do straight people eat?
Fucking straight people eat goddamn collard greens, mashed potatoes, and country fried steak. That's like the straightest thing I feel like you can eat. Or straight people, we eat like a steak with like no steak sauce. Just fucking a steak on a plate and just being like, I'll say that.
All right, we're gonna end on that. Tell people where they can find you.
You can find me at Rocky ROCKY Dale DALE Davis on all the Instagram, social medias, all that good stuff.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. My name is Ian Aber, and this has been Straight People.
Bold Koi, bold and beautiful.